Saint Gerard Majella. He lived in the 18th century, and he's the patronage of childbirth, of pregnant women, of the people who are falsely accused of something, and of a pro-life movement. And he was 9 when his father died, and his mother had to give him to a tailor to become an apprentice. But he then joined, when he was 24 in 1749, the Congregation of Most Holy Redeemers, the Redemptors, founded by his contemporary Saint Alfonso Liguori. And he worked very hard for the charity of people who were poor. And it was said about him that he had the ability to read other people's minds, and that he could heal people miraculously. Now, there was then an incident, and that has to do why he is with the patronage of falsely accused people. So this is now a little bit about sexual abuse. He was accused, which later then happened to be that it appears that it was falsely, by a person called Nenea, that he had misconduct inappropriately against her sister. There was not so good look at him at the time, and also Saint Alfonso Liguori was not so much in favor of him at the time. But already during this time, there was that the talks about that he would do more wonders had increased, and also Saint Alfonso Liguori wasn't convinced to have seen a bilocation. So it means that he saw Gerard Majella at a place while being convinced that he was at another place. And then it came out, according to this book and this story, that the story was then a lie, because the person who had accused him was lying in death, and the person didn't want to go into death with a lie. And that is why he is the patronage of the falsely accused people. And that is according to Malcolm Day's A Treasury of Saints book on the page 27. Hi and welcome. I am trying to learn Biographyology, today Saint Gerard Majella, and after we've done a bit, we're going to do martial arts basics training. And if you participate in the martial arts basics training, then is it at your own risk. So Gerard Majella, he lived in the 18th century. We have gone over the whole text already once. Now we're going to do it a second time. We try to memorize the things, the important things we want to list in our video, or which we are able to list. We have to do it off memory. And that's what we're doing now. So Saint Gerard Majella lived in the 18th century. And he is a patronage of childbirth, pregnant women, of falsely accused people, and of pro-life movement, and of laborers. But I don't know what it means, laborers. Childbirth, pregnant woman, falsely accused, pro-life movement, and laborers. Many paranormal phenomena were reported of this modest friar, especially in the last years of his short life. Several instances of what were regarded as signs of holiness occurred when he had become the subject of an unusual causa célèbre in the quiet world of a cloister. His father died when Gerard was only 9, and his mother reluctantly had to apprentice him to a tailor in order to survive. His father died when he was 9. His mother had to give him to a tailor as an apprentice. His heart, though, was devoted to the service of God, and in 1749, he was 24 when he joined the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, the Redemptorists. Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, Redemptorists, founded by his contemporary Saint Alfonso Liguori. Saint Alfonso Liguori founded at some time before 1749, when Saint Gerard Majella became part of it, the Congregation of Most Holy Redeemers, or also called the Redemptorists. Alfonso Liguori. Despite having weak health, Gerard worked like an ox and was held in high esteem for his charity to the poor. Perceptive and pure in spirit, he became known for an extraordinary ability to read the minds of others. Soon stories circulated of his clairvoyance, even of prophecy and miraculous healing. I don't know what clairvoyance is. Clairvoyance. So he worked a lot to help the poor there. And it was also said that he had the ability to read the minds of others, that he had clairvoyance, and that he could do miraculous healing. Here's the patronage of pregnant women, of childbirth. Childbirth and pregnant woman. Childbirth, pregnant woman. Childbirth, pregnant woman, falsely accused people, pro-life movement, and labor. Okay, I don't know what it is. Laborers. Hero and villain. We're going to talk now a little bit about. It's not clearly said what was the accusation, but we're going to talk a bit about, let's say, sexual abuse. Hero and villain. Special gifts though he had, the daily routine always beckoned. One duty was to open the cloister door to young girls. One girl, named Nerea, wished fervently to become a nun, but did not have the requisite dowry. By asking of friends, he managed to raise enough money for her entry. Yet after 3 weeks, she was so homesick she decided to leave the nunnery. An embarrassment made worse by the fact that Gerard was a family friend. In thinking of a way to shift the blame from herself, she remembered that he had recently stayed at their home, and she concocted a story about his evil behavior with one of her sisters, the details of which she confessed to none other than Alfonso Liguori. The astonished confessor put the matter to Gerard, who surprised him even more by refusing to comment, thus implying his guilt. The issue went to higher levels and soon became the subject of gossip in the friary and at home. Where previously a sense of holiness had enveloped the saintly friar, there was no suspicion and mistrust. Gerard cut alone some figure, pale and withdrawn. Yet miracle cures were being credited to the alleged criminal now more than ever before. Okay, I didn't understand the sentence last time. So while his what is it called? The way people looked at him, the way people thought of him, was not so good. There were more reportings of him doing miracles. He was frequently seen to be in ecstasy during prayers, normally taken as a sign of divine possession. Perhaps most impressive for the perplexed Alphonsus was an occurrence of the ancient phenomenon known as bilocation, associated with mystics and saints. That is also described, okay. I think I know what the meaning with the text here in the second part. I mean, with Alphonsus Liguori, Saint Alphonsus Liguori was perplexed that now where he was accused of, I don't know what, I'm just going to say misconduct, that now he seemed to have more the ability of healing people, more of miraculous wonders, which seemed to be contradicting with the assumption, or with what Saint Alfonso Liguori had heard about him. While in the refectory, so what is it? An occurrence of the ancient phenomenon known as bilocation, associated with mystics and saints. While in the refectory, Alfonso suddenly beheld the spirit form of Gerard standing before him in response to his mental summons. Yet at the time Gerard was staying in another monastery. Am I able to explain what a bilocation is? Bilocation, that's just bi means two and location means it's two places at the same time. Bi is Greek for two, so bilocation. Okay, bilocation, and so it's Saint Alfonso Liguori saw him standing before him, even though he was convinced that he was at another place at the same time. Alphonsus was being to look on his subject with a gentle eye. Alphonsus, that made him also so suspicious because only a holy person would be able to make a bilocation and also a miraculous healing. Then he received a letter from Nerea saying she was seriously ill. Fearing God's judgment should she die, she confessed her lie. Gerard was reprieved. Asking why he had not said something in his defense, he replied, "How could I? Does not the rule forbid me to excuse myself and to be in silence whatever modifications are imposed by the superior?" And his answer why he did not had made his, not justification, he made his explanation, what is it? His defense, whatever it's now called. His defense against it. Because I'm going to break it a little down. I don't know exactly the words, but basically it means the tasks imposed by the superior should not be. Does not the rule forbid me to excuse myself and to be in silence whatever modifications are imposed by the superior? That he should be, that it is regarded of him. No, it is demanded of him. but it is demanded of him that he should bear in silence whatever modifications are imposed on him by the superior. It is said that throughout the entire case, Gerard prayed for his accuser's release from the sin of calumny. I don't know what calumny is, but I think you know what I mean. The meaning that he was praying all the time that the person who had accused him would be released from what? Let's just say what it is, from sin of calumny. Before the year's end, he died of tuberculosis. Okay, Saint Gerard Majella. 9 years old, father died, mother had to give him to a tailor apprentice. But he joined in 1749 the congregation of Most Holy Redeemers, the Redemptors, founded by his contemporaries, whatever the word means, Saint Alfonso Liguori. He worked for the poor. It was said that he had the ability to read other people's minds and to make miraculous healings. When he was accused by a person with the name Neria of having had inappropriate misconduct against her sister. But, yes, that led the people to having gossip about what was said. To look not so good on him. Let's just break it down to the most simple words. To look not so good at him in the town. During the time, it was more talking about it. Okay, let's start the camera and try to send. Saint Gerard Majella. He lived in the 18th century, and he is the patronage of childbirth, of pregnant women, of the people who are falsely accused of something, and of a pro-life movement. And he was 9 when his father died, and his mother had to give him to a tailor to become an apprentice. But he then joined, when he was 24 in 1749, the congregation of Most Holy Redeemers, the Redemptors, founded by his contemporary Saint Alfonso Liguori. And he worked very hard for the charity of people who were poor. And it was said about him that he had the ability to read other people's minds and that he could heal people miraculously. Now, there was an incident, and that has to do why he is with the patronage of falsely accused people. So this is now a little bit about sexual abuse. He was accused, which later then happened to be that it appears that it was falsely, by a person called Neria, that he had misconduct inappropriately against her sister. There was not so good look at him at the time, and also Saint Alfonso Liguori was not so much in favor of him at the time, but already during this time there was that the talks about that he would do more wonders had increased, and also Saint Alfonso Liguori wasn't convinced to have seen a bilocation. So that means that he saw Gerard Majella at a place by being convinced that he was at another place. And then it came out, according to this book and this story, that the story was then a lie, because the person who had accused him was lying in death, and that person didn't want to go into death with a lie. And that is why he is the patronage of the falsely accused people. And that is according to Malcolm Day's A Treasury of Saints book on the page 27. What is up the camera? And that was a biographyology one. If you were here for biographyology, you can go directly to the next part of biographyology. If you stay here and participate in the, I think I said martial arts basic training, when I said at your office. One leg up and pull in here. Upward. Take your leg at the ankle, straight break, knee down. Change. One leg to the side, the toes are pointing in front, and the standing inner side of the leg. And then over. Toes are pointing in front, standing inner side of the leg. And go from side to side. The Mendes exercise. And back and a little, and no. One leg up and back. 1, 2, 3 steps, other one up and back. The shovel stop block exercise. 1, 2, 3, knee up, back. 2, 3, knee up, back. One more, And stretch kicks. Hand out, kick against it. 1, 2, 3. Hand out, kick against it. And now knee up and back, up and in with frog. And now Crashkin kicks. Kick up and back and in, up, back. Lunge kicks. I'm going to kick now close to the camera. So right foot in front, lunge down with a knee and kick. And again back. Left foot in front, lunge and kick. And right foot in front, lunge and kick. And left foot in front and kick. And one more time, the right foot in front and kick. And now squat down and kick. Squat, kick. Squat and kick. 2 more. And we're having now 12 push-ups on the ground. Hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the tailbone in and down to the first one, elbows close to the ribcage, the second one. And 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and number 10, and 11, and the last one, number 12. And the heel onto the ground, pull the toes in, foot to the left and pull the toes in, to the right and pull in, middle, move from left to right. Other heel onto the ground, pull the toes in, foot to the right, pull in, left, pull in, middle, move from left to right. One leg up. Forward. Legs wide apart, swing down. And breathe out. One more round. Out, breathe in and close the legs. Good again. It was the martial arts training. Thank you very much.